Good afternoon, my name's Amanda and this is the Exploring Styles and Templates with Microsoft Word session. As usual, we will be dropping a feedback form into the chat at the end of the session, and I think we're going to try and drop the handout for today's session in there as well, which is all about styles. Good afternoon, everyone, and this is the session on styles and templates. We'll be dropping the feedback form and the handout into the chat at the end of the session, and it's being recorded, so we will also give you a link to the video when we've finished. So let's start with templates. Microsoft Word allows you to create templates, and the whole idea of templates is to allow you to have a document that's already got a certain look and feel. So I've got a template here. I can tell that it's a template, not least because I called it template, but also because it ends in the .dotx. So anything that ends in dot is a template. When I double click on it to open, it won't open the actual template. It will open a copy of it. So the other good thing about this is that it stops people from accidentally overwriting your template. You'll see at the top this says document 1. It doesn't say template, which is the name of the template itself. If I wanted to amend the template, I'll close this one. And if I go to File and Open and Template. So if I open it directly from Word, you'll see it now says template.dotx. So in order to make changes to a template that you've created, you need to go into Word first and then open it from within Word. If all I do is I go in by double clicking, so I'll just let that close, double click, it opens the template as a document and as a copy of the template. So as I say, templates are there for us to have documents with pre-designed outlines. So you can see in here I've got a header. If I scroll to the bottom, I've also got a footer in there already. And it just saves me that time of having to add that to every document. It could be that you've got more complex documents as well. So something like an employment contract. I'm sure we all hire staff. We might have similar terms and conditions, and there's just a few things that we need to go in and change. We don't want to be writing the whole contract every time we do it. So that would be another example of creating a template. So this is a normal document, and to save as a template, I would just go to File, Save As, and then find where I want to put it, and then give it a name. And then on the Save As type, I would choose the Word template option. So this is now the template itself. I've misspelt it, but that's fine. So this is template2.dotx. Any changes I make to this are to the template itself. So as well as having physical things in our template, like my logos and my text, I can also build in styles. So styles are the things that we use to give a standardized look and feel to our documents. Marketing would call it branding, we would call it styles. So there are various styles I might want to put into a template. And you can see here I've got some text that says main heading. I want to create that as a heading. So normally what we would do is we would probably make it a bit larger, maybe 16. We might make it bold, underlined. We might even change the color of it. Everything that you do that changes the look and feel of the text or of the paragraph creates a style. My styles box is here, and in the styles box we have what we call a gallery. So these are predefined styles, and if I want to, I can apply one by clicking on it, and it will apply that style to that heading. One of the good things about styles is that it allows us to make changes to things very quickly and easily. So I'm going to open up a document that's got a little bit more text in it for now. and I've picked on the styles document, and I can see what the different styles are. If I click on the text and then I have a look at my gallery, it highlights the style that's being used at the moment. Because there are a lot of styles available, I can make this styles pane bigger by clicking on the pull out arrow at the bottom right hand corner. So these are the styles. Now, if you go into your styles and you can see colors and bold and things like that, and they're not displaying in this box here, it will be because show preview is unticked. So without the show preview on, it just lists the style names. If I tick show preview, it will show me what they will look like when I apply them. So that's the first useful thing. The next useful thing is the ability to select anything that uses a particular style. So this is heading 3. I can see this is probably heading 3 or topic as it is here. When I click on it, it will show me what style is being used. And then there's a little arrow that appears when you hover over it on the right hand side. If I click my drop down arrow, I can see the ability to select everything that uses that style. So if I scroll down now, you'll see that it's selected everything that uses that topic style. And now I can make changes to it. So I could make it red instead of blue. And I can then change that without having to go through and look for everything that uses that style. I can do the same thing with our headings. So select all 3 instances, it selects everything, and I can make it all underlined. So styles help us to create a standardized look and feel, and also make it easier for making changes to that style. So if I've got a style I've been using for all my headings, and like we have recently, you rebrand, instead of using blue, we're now using the purple color. I could go and find that topic heading. I could select everything that uses it, and then I could pick the right color, not quite the right purple, but close enough. And I can change that in this document without needing to go through particularly large documents to find where that's being used. So that's one of the good things about styles. Over on the right hand side, I can see lots of styles in this list, and sometimes it can be a bit annoying trying to find the one you're looking for. So in my styles pane, I can click on options. Options allows me to say what should be shown in this styles pane. So at the moment it's got all styles. So every predefined style and any custom styles in this document will be in that list. I can use the recommended ones. So that would be things like heading 1 and heading 2, the Microsoft defined ones. Or I can go for the ones that are in the document or the ones that are in use. If I select in use and click OK, you'll see it's a much shorter list, and these are the ones that I'm using at the moment in this document. So most of my text will be either a list paragraph or a heading or my normal style. So by using options, I can turn on and off what I see in this styles box. So I'm going to now go back to my other document and I'm going to create my own styles. So the first thing is I'm going to get rid of all of the formatting on this particular text. The quickest way to remove the formatting is in my font group using this little razor sign, and that will take it back to the normal font. So I could create my style by applying the same formatting that I did before. So maybe bold, a little bit bigger, changing the color. I can also add paragraph options. So if I wanted this to be center aligned and if I wanted it to have different options, I can go into my paragraph spacing. So what I'm going to do is I want to say that it's going to have a page break before, and I'm going to keep it with the next. So what that will make sure is that as a heading, that it's not on its own at the bottom of a page, the next paragraph stays with it. And whenever I use this style, it's going to create a page break. So this heading will always appear on a new page. And I might also add some spacing before and after. So I'm going to make this single line spacing, but I'm going to add 12 points before and 12 points after. So you can see that that's applied to this style. To create a style, I would normally open my styles pane, and then at the bottom there is a little A with a plus. If I click that, it takes any text that I've currently got highlighted as the basis for my style. So it's already size 16, it's bold, it's got my center alignment, it's got my colors, and I can see a list of what it's got down here at the bottom. The first thing I'm going to do is give this a name. So I'm going to call it Amanda 1 because I'm really creative. The next thing I need to do is define what style type it is. So if I click on the drop down, we've got a few types of styles. The one that we're going, or the two that we're going to look at are paragraph and character. If you select character, you can only use the formatting options in the font group. So you can't use anything in the paragraph because character will only apply to the text, not to the entire paragraph. The other one we're going to look at is paragraph, which is what I've got here. So if you want to use anything in the paragraph group, make sure that it is a paragraph style. Once I've done that, I can then add any additional formatting. So we've got main formatting options here, things like alignment, we've got the different text options. But if I go to the format button down at the bottom, I have all of these different things that I can use. So we've got text effects, we can add numbering, we can add borders, tabs, paragraph formatting, and font formatting. So if I want to do something a little bit different, maybe make it all caps, I can do that in here. My final thing is, what do I want to do with this style? So do I want to add it to the style gallery? If I do, it will appear in this list up at the top. Do I want to automatically update it? This is disabled by default, turned off, because what happens is if I select any of the text that uses that style and I change it, it will automatically update that style and apply it to everything else that uses it. So this should be used with caution, because it would be very easy for someone to go, oh, I like the color and the size, but I want it left aligned. And then all of a sudden, all of your styles are left aligned for that particular style. So I normally leave that off. We'll have a look at how we modify styles once we've created them if we need to. The next option is, do I only want to use this style in this document? Or if I'm creating a template like I'm doing here, do I want to also apply the styles to any documents that use this template? So I'm going to change it to new documents based on this template. Then I'm going to click OK, and that is now my style. It's called Amanda 1. That's the name I gave it. It's showing me what it looks like, so I can see that it's center aligned, I can see the size, all capitals, etc. If I then want to change it, all I would do is hover over it again so that I get the drop down arrow, click on the drop down arrow and go to modify. That allows me to make the changes in here. Using the format button, I can access all of the things that I would usually use in font and paragraph, and I can make the changes in here and then apply it. So that stops me from accidentally doing something and then updating the style to go with it. So that's creating and using styles. And the good thing is, if I do another heading and I want to apply that style to it, because it's a paragraph style, I don't even need to select it. Just find it in the list, click on it. It's given me a new page because I said page break before, and it's put it into capitals and put it in the center alignment, the right size, and everything else that I selected. So I'm going to do another one. I'm going to do the subheading, but this time I'm going to do it by just clicking create style. So new style, again, same box. This is going to be Amanda text, because this time I'm only going to create it as a character style. And you'll see as soon as I choose character, all of my options for paragraphs are grayed out. And if I go to formatting, I can't use paragraphs or tabs, frames or numbering, but I can still use fonts, borders, etc. from in here. So I'm going to go into font formatting. I'm going to make it a greenish colour. I'll have it underlined in blue, and that's going to be my colouring. I'm going to change it to, let's have Calibri. I'm going to have it italic and size 12. If I finish with that, don't forget that if you are creating a template, we need to change it to new documents based on this template, and then I can click OK. So I've now got a subheading that is a character format, and I can see that by looking at it, because on the right hand side, anything that is a character style will have an A, anything that is a paragraph style will have the paragraph marker, and some of them are character and paragraph, which means that you can either apply it to a whole paragraph, but if you only select part of the text to apply it, then it will apply it as a character style instead. Because we may receive documents we don't know what the formatting is. On my styles pane at the bottom next to new styles, I have my style inspector. And if I go to my style inspector over here, I can select something and it will tell me the paragraph and the text formatting. So in this case, I've got just text level formatting. There is nothing on my paragraph formatting. Now it's a bit annoying to scroll up and down these, so I'm going to click on the reveal formatting button, which will put it over on the right hand side, and then I can move this out of the way. So I've clicked into subheading. It tells me the different things that have been applied for this character style. I can also see the paragraph information. If I expand section, I can see the section settings as well, so all of the margins and everything else. So this is a good way of finding out what formatting has been applied to something. If I click in here, I can see that it tells me there's paragraph formatting, and I can see here all of the paragraph options that have been applied. So that's my document or my styles inspector and reveal formatting. Good way to find out what's been done to any particular style. There is also a list level style that I can create. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this into a multi-level list. I'm going to do that by going to my multi-level list options, and I will just pick a default one up here. So I'm just going to change the level of this list. So this is level 1. I want this to be a sub-level, and this to be a sub-level of that one. This one's going to be a main level, sub-level, and this is also a level 2. So we call these level 1, level 2, level 3, etc. And you'll see that when I click on them, it doesn't show me the multi-level list that I just applied. It shows me numbering. And if I click on there, I can see define new number format. That would allow me to change the way the numbers appear for my numbered list. But what I want to do is I want to change my multi-level list, and I want to change each one of these. So even though this is the button that's highlighted, I need to go back to multi-level list, and I want to define a new multi-level list. These are the different levels of lists. So we've got 1 through to 9, and this is how it currently appears. So if I go to level 2, it highlights level 2. And the number formatting we've got is an automatic numbering for the first level, and we've included the number above. So I've got 1.1 point. If I go to 3, it's 1.1.1. And I can see that the indent increases. So we start off with 0.63, then we go to 1.4, aligned at 0.63, then we go to 2.16, aligned at 1.27, and so on. If I want to change that, I can click on this and I can change the number style. So maybe I want these to be ABCs. So then I've got A, then I've got A1, A1.1, and so on. If I want A, then I want a lowercase a, I can click on level 2 and I can choose lowercase. Level 3, I've got numbers at the moment. I can also change the additional text. So the A is the bit that changes with each of my different items. But if I wanted a close bracket symbol, I can type that in directly. If I wanted a hyphen with some spaces, I can do that as well. To change the font that's used for that, I can click on the font button and I can decide that actually I want this to be in the nice purple colour. I can also change the font type, I can change the font style and the size. I'm just going to stick with the colour for now. So now you can see that level 1 is a purple colour. And if I wanted to, I could go in and change the colour for level 2, get a pinky colour, and so on. If I want to give it more space between where the number starts and the margin, then I can increase the alignment and text levels. So first of all, if I start this at 0.5 centimeters, that will start further in from my margin. And I want to give it a 1 centimeter indent for the text. When I click OK, I've now got my ½ centimeter for the start of my list, which is this one here. And then I've got my text starting at the 1 centimeter where there's room. If there's not room, it will push it across. And if you were on the tabs session, you will know I've got my first line and my hanging indent. So I could increase the amount of space for the text. But if I was doing this as a list, I would just go back in, select my list, go back into my multi-level list, and then I would go and I would change the list level for whichever one I wanted to do. So this would be list 1, and I could go and change that and recreate these. So these are my options for how I set that list up. There is also the number formatting option. So define new number format will allow me to go in and change where we start the numbering, the alignment, and the basic styles as well. But if you're creating multi-level lists, you'll need to do the multi-level list option and define new multi-level list. Now you'll notice that all that did was it changed the way these appear. It hasn't changed my text. So what I would also do is I would go and create a text for each one of these different levels. So this might be, I want it to be a different colour. Let's have it green, bold. I'll leave it at that size. And then I could go and create my list paragraph style from here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to call this AD1. So this is my level 1 list. If I'm doing it for a template, new documents based on this template, it's automatically put it as a paragraph because that's the only way I can use things like tabs. And I'm going to click OK. So that's list level 1. I would do the same with this one. So I might want to make this a little bit smaller. Maybe I want some extra spacing between these. And I might want this in italics. And then I can create AD2. So I've now got a level 1, a level 2, and I will just finish off with a level 3. Let's make this orange and underlined. And I'll save that as AD3. And I think I probably forgot to do that on this one. So that's my template created with my different options in it. I don't want this text in my template, so I can just delete it. And that one as well. But this document should now have all of those template styles already in them, and I can see them up at the top. So I could save that now, and then when I close it and reopen it, one of the things I should have mentioned is when you save a template, as soon as you change to the word template option, it will put you in your custom office templates. So let's take it back to where it should be. So always change the type first and then find the location you want to save it to. So that should now be in the right place for me to find it. So if I double click on it now, it will open me up a document based on that template, but those styles will already exist in the template. So if I'm doing a heading, I can then go and select the style that was created for headings. If I want to create a new list for something, I can go and use my list item 1 or 2 or 3. So those styles are already in there. However, at the moment, I can also use all of the other styles because all I need to do is go into options and say I want to use all styles. And now I can see every style that was in there before. And there's nothing to stop me from deciding I want to use body text first indent. And the problem is that people will generally just start formatting things the way they want them to be. So there is a way of preventing people from doing that. If you remember from the previous sessions, we have been to the review and restrict editing. We were doing that with track changes. But I have the option to restrict formatting options. If I go into settings, I can limit formatting to a selection of styles. If I tick that box, I can then go through and decide what they can and can't use. So if I say none, it unticks everything. I can then go and say, okay, they can have the 3 I created for lists. They can have the Amanda one, which was my heading, and the Amanda text, which is the standard one. And the other one that I would normally go and let them use is the normal option. But again, if you've got a body text that you've created, then you could just allow them access to that. So normal. There are other options down at the bottom which prevent them from doing other things. I'll just leave it set at that and click OK. Now, because I have things at the bottom in my footers, I haven't allowed the styles for them. Do I want to remove them? I can either say, yes, I want to remove them, in which case it will block all of the styles that are not in there, or I can say no and leave them in place. So what will happen in this, because it's on a right tab alignment, and I haven't said I can use this particular style, not even sure which style it is that I used. So that's a footer style. So if I wanted to make that available, then on my review, when I go to my restrict editing and settings, I would need to make sure that I went down to footer and allowed the footer style. I'm going to say yes and remove everything else. So as you can see, my footer's now moved. I would ideally go through and add the ones that have been used for the footer. But now what I can do is I can start enforcing protection. Can enter a password if you want. Normally with formatting restrictions, I wouldn't, because it will allow people who are allowed to use different styles, or you want people to be able to add different styles to do that. So I'm not going to add a password. But what I'm going to do now is if I come out of my header and I try to go to any of the other styles, it won't let me use them unless they are in here. And if I go all styles, you'll see that the only things that are allowed are the ones in this section here. Now, if you've added a password, that will stop anybody from being able to go in and turn off that restriction, and then they will be able to make whatever changes they want just by clicking stop protection, and they can go in. If you've set a password, then only people with the password would be able to do that. So styles are really useful for being able to set up the look and feel of documents. You don't even have to have any of the additional things like the headers and footers or any standard text in there. You can do it on your normal template. So this is not a template at the moment, but it is based on a template, and every document, whether it's the blank one you open up when you first start Word or something that you open up later on, is based on a template, and the default one is normally normal. So find where your normal template is located and open it up. You can then create the styles that you need without adding anything else to it, and then you can save that as your normal template. Then whenever you open it up, it will have the styles already created, and you will be able to go through and apply those styles to whatever text you are writing at the time. And it then makes it very easy, as I say, because all I need to do is find the style that I want to make changes to, or the text I want to amend, select all of the instances, and then I can change things like the alignment without having to go through and figure out what headings are using which style. So I've now centered all of those headings in a couple of simple clicks, and it will stop people from making changes so that all of your branding, your look and feel of your document is consistent every time they create a new document. Are there any questions? Okay, well, that's the end of the session on templates and styles. If you do have any questions, drop them into the chat, or feel free to hang around, unmute, and ask me afterwards. Thank you for your time. Hopefully you found that interesting and useful. And as I say, Rebecca's going to drop in the link for the feedback form, and also, if she can, the handouts. If not, we'll get that sent over to you with a link to the recording. Thank you.